concept I've been paying more attention to lately is how often the same conversations keep coming up across the crypto space. I'll be checking forums, reading community discussions, looking through user reports, and almost the stories are usually very similar. Somebody can't complete a transfer, somebody else is waiting for a withdrawal, or trying to swap assets and ends up paying a lot more in network costs than expected. Different platforms, same type of frustration. And after seeing that over and over again, I stopped focusing on individual products and started looking at the process itself. Because when most people use crypto, they're not doing anything complicated. And one thing that kept showing up almost every time was transaction fees. And after repeating that workflow often enough, those costs start becoming much more noticeable. So naturally, I became curious about a few alternative approaches. I've spent years testing wallets, exchanges, bridges, and different blockchain tools. And whenever something claims to solve a common problem, I prefer checking it myself instead of relying on advertisements or social media posts.
Alright, so before getting into anything technical, let me just show how this actually works in practice, because that's usually the first thing I look at when I'm testing a new crypto product. Not the landing page, not the feature list, just the actual workflow. If the basic actions are smooth, that's usually a good sign. So first option here is create wallet, so that's where I'll start. And now the wallet asks me to create a password. I usually tell people not to overcomplicate this step, but at the same time, it's worth using something unique because this password protects access to the wallet on the device. Now it generated a 12 words recovery phrase, and whenever I see this screen, I basically stop everything else until I've saved the phrase properly, because this isn't something that can be recovered later through support. This is the backup. Lose the device, reinstall the wallet, switch to another computer. This phrase is what restores access. So I save it offline, keep it somewhere secure, and move on. Alright, then it wants me to verify the backup, so I'm selecting the requested words one by one, and then press verify.
A few seconds later, the setup is finished. Wallet created. No additional steps. The entire process takes maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, now let's use it. I'm going to switch over to a wallet I've already been using for testing. I've had this one running for a little while, so it's a better example than a fresh account. So let's send a few assets to my MetaMask. So first, I copy the receiving address. Then I come back and press send. Then I choose the network the destination address belongs to. This is one of those details that's easy to overlook, so I always check it carefully. Then paste the address, enter the amount, and continue. So now I'm on the review screen. This is usually where I do one final check before submitting anything. And one thing worth pointing out here, transaction fee is showing 0, no gas charge, no additional transfer cost. So I'll go ahead and click confirm. And all right, transaction has been submitted. Now we wait for the network to finish processing it.
All right, my balance updated and transfer completed without any transaction fee being applied. So now, naturally, after using a wallet like this for a while, the obvious question becomes, how is that possible? So I spent some time looking into that side as well. Regular transfers are supported through protocol revenue rather than charging users directly for every transaction. There are optional premium features available for people who need things like higher limits or faster processing, and swap routing can generate a small spread depending on liquidity sources. That revenue helps support the underlying infrastructure. But honestly, from my perspective, that's not even the main takeaway. The main thing I've noticed after using it for a while is that it removes a lot of small annoyances that tend to pile up over time. No constantly checking gas balances, no thinking about whether one wallet has enough native tokens to move another asset, no jumping between multiple apps to complete a simple transfer. Everything is right here. So I've been using it regularly for more than a month now, and that's really why it stayed in my testing rotation. Not because it's trying to reinvent crypto or it makes huge promises, mostly because it keeps routine tasks simple. And after spending years testing wallets, exchanges, bridges, and DeFi platforms, that's usually what ends up mattering the most.